Hey, this is Professor Homa, and I'm just going to review the Italian menu exercise that we did in class just a little bit. I'm not going to go over the whole exercise because the steps are pretty self-explanatory, but I'm just going to go over a couple things just so you have a little overview, and also one area at the end where we have two tabs, so I'm going to review that. But what I'll do first is I'll just make two styles. Well, first of all, here's my, if you download the PDF file, here it is in Acrobat Reader. So you could look at a finished version. You don't have to print it out, but you can look at it and see what it's supposed to look like when it's finished. So that's the Acrobat file, the PDF file of the finished sample. And down here too, here's the instructions. So if you follow the instructions, they should be pretty self-explanatory. So I'm gonna go back to my menu here, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna format house salad, which is gonna be an item. And according to the instructions, this should be green. So whatever order you make this, I'm going to make it green first. I'm using a dark green. You can make it green, and then we'll set a tab. You remember how we can set a tab? Use the paragraph dialog box launcher. Go down to tabs and just type in wherever the tab should be at 6.5, which you can see over here. It's just at the end of where our margin is, and it needs to be a right tab, and it needs to have a leader. We'll do that all at once. So there it is. I'll hit set. So you want to see it added to your little list of tabs here. So it's 6.5, it's a right tab, and it has a leader, which is under number 2, so I'll hit OK. And there it is, and other formatting I need for that is just a 6-point space before. So I'll do that also from the paragraph dialog box launcher, space before of 6 point. So that's my formatting for that. To make it a style, just make sure you keep this highlighted, or just have your cursor in here. Go down to the new style button. I'm going to call it item, and I'll put RH just so I know it's mine, just so as I get used to styles. And then I can apply this item just by clicking on item. I can now apply this to all the other ones. Now I'm not going to go through and do all these right now, but you get the idea. Same thing here. Here's the description. Highlight the description and format it. So I'm going to format it. I believe it's going to be 11 point. I believe it's italic. And I think it's also green. So we're doing a number of things here. Number of steps, and then it's also indented. I think it's just a 1/4 inch, and you could do that up here. You could just slide this over. That's one way to indent, or if you go to the dialog box launcher, you could do the indent here, left indent. So that's indented, and I'm also going to save that as a style, and I'll just call that description. RH, my initial. You could use yours when you do it for yourself, and I'll hit OK. And then for all the other descriptions, you can highlight description and apply them. Remember also one thing I'll just show here, if you ever want to break these lines so they look better, and when I mean look better, I mean so they don't have just one word down here. If I wanted to put topped with fresh grated Parmesan cheese on another line, instead of hitting return, which would do this, and also actually what I forgot here is and I'll do this by editing my style. So I'll modify description, because I actually forgot this. I'll modify my style because something else my style needs under format paragraph is we also need a 3-point before and a 3-point after. So I'll put that in, and if you can't type in, if it won't click the 3, you just have to type it in. So just put in 3, or just highlight the whole field and put in 3. You don't even have to put the PT, it'll default to that. So there it is. And now everything that has that applied will update. So whenever you have to make changes, always do it through your style. Now one thing I mentioned, if you need to break a line here, instead of hitting return, which puts extra space in there because it thinks it's a new paragraph, if I put on my formatting marks or my show hide, it thinks it's a new paragraph. You don't need a new paragraph there. I'll delete that. What you need is a shift return or a line break. This little icon here is a line break. So that keeps it within the same paragraph, so it's not affected by any of the spacing. Same thing down here. If I wanted to put topped with fresh Parmesan in the next line, I'll just do a shift break, or a shift return, which will do a line break. All right, the next part I want to go over real quick, and I guess I'm almost out of time, so I'm gonna break it right here, and then part 2 I'll go over the next part, and that's all we'll have is 2 parts. So I'm gonna stop this now.